Okay, so Lee has a question about what he thinks is a reduced quality, and he doesn't know whether it's coming from Filmora or if it's coming from YouTube, from videos that he's posting. And he indicates here that these are a couple of important points here, that he's using his GoPro, but he's only recording in HD, and then he's upscaling it to 4K. And and usually with a bit rate of 80,000 in order to prove things, the highest settings that he says he can get away with. Now, so basically he says that recently the videos have been going terribly wrong, and in that the quality has really gone down quite a bit. And when we look into his comments, not comments, but yeah, his comments, he's posted a link to the video as here, and he's also posted a link to this other video. So I'm just going to put both of those up next to each other so we can take a look at them. So examining them in YouTube, we check the settings. Most people don't know that they can change their settings to improve the quality of their videos to begin with, but what we see here on the one, his most recent one, is that this quality on my computer is set to auto, but many might have it set to this lower quality as well, and not even know that they're playing back at a lower quality. So you should always go in here and select the best possible. So this is the best possible. It's HD. Okay, let's see, it's HD 2K, and that's the best that that can give. So obviously that's what it was uploaded in, because YouTube will render it in whatever the highest is and everything lower, which we can see when we go over to this side and we check on the settings over here. And you can see here now we're getting a 4K option, and that's the highest resolution, which is what he has exported in the past. So obviously, and here are all of the other settings down below. So if somebody's watching it on a lower quality screen or phone screen or something like that, they're probably getting one of these lower qualities. So anyway, that's we can see that it's true that what he's uploading now is not the same as it was in the past. This was 4K, and this was only 2K or HD. So my first comment would simply be that you don't get something for nothing. Okay, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Lee mentioned that he records in 2K and then he boosts it during the export to the highest possible setting, 4K, and also increases the bit rate. It's kind of like the difference between on your phone camera when it only had one lens on the front, that you had a certain amount of optical zoom, but if you could go beyond that and you got into a digital zoom. But whenever you use the digital zoom, the quality of the image was always less. You know, you couldn't actually blow it up as much in your video editor without getting a really fuzzy image. So the point of that story is that you should record in the format that you want to export in, and vice versa. You should only export in the format in which the film was recorded. Now you can do what Lee is doing. You can up the values on the export panel, but what you're getting is the equivalent of the digital zoom. In other words, and when you increase the resolution from 2K to 4K, you're putting in twice as many pixels within the same area, and that where do those pixels come from? Think about that. They come from an average of the pixels around it. So you're not getting a crisp, clear image to begin with. Now, that's not Lee's particular problem. It's just an observation that I'm making. Likewise, if you film something at 30 frames per second and you export it at 60 frames per second because you want a smoother feel to it, well, every other frame is going to be digitally or AI filled in from an average of the frame before it and frame after it. So you're getting an average. So you're probably going to get a blurred image there on every other image. So just to summarize, please film in the same format that you want to export it in, or vice versa, export in what you filmed in. And if you're not sure what you filmed in, over here in the resource panel, you can always right click on the image, go down to properties, and then you get all of the information about that particular clip. And in this case, this is an image, and it's giving me the size. Here's giving me the resolution. Okay, this indeed was a 4K image. Let's take one of these video images here and look at the properties here, which is more germane. So this was filmed with a codec of H.264, and it is a 4K resolution, not quite as much as the image itself. And here's the speed. Again, this is what you want to kind of match. And the bit rate here is 55,000 or 50, is that 50? Yeah, 55,000. So that's really what you want to try to emulate. Now, obviously, you may have different camera equipment that films at different rates. My suggestion is go into your camera settings, standardize them so they're all the same. Of course, you're always going to be facing the challenge when you're using different camera equipment with different camera settings, that when you drag something down to the timeline, you're going to get this match the media, keep project settings. Well, if on this timeline we have these higher resolution media, if we choose match the media, we're not matching the media for this one particular clip. We're actually making a change to the entire project. Under project settings, here's your setup. We have this 4K. Everything is set up. Now we're going to drag this lower resolution image down here. If we choose this image and we go back and look at the project settings again, we're going to see that our whole project has been changed. So our high quality that we have over here is totally lost because we added a low quality image or low quality video to the timeline. Now, before we even get to the export panel here, there is a ton of things that we can do to our images to improve the quality of our video. I'm going to touch on some of them, but not all of them, and I'm not going to demonstrate all of them. But just to show you, for example, most people really aren't even aware of all of the tools that are within Filmora to enhance your videos and your pictures, and they just go with dropping something down on the timeline, and whatever they get is what they get. To begin with, you can simply go up here to the image and go down to Auto Enhance. That's a very simple thing that will reset the contrast. It will improve it a little bit. You can try improving it more. This is a very basic setting that's been around for a long time. There are much better tools even beyond this if you want to take the time to do that. You probably should be doing color grading and sharpening and stuff like that. And in fact, there are other ways to auto-enhance other than this. So let's just get rid of this image for a second. And let me just swing over to here. Here is that same image. And this is uncorrected or unfixed, whatever. And you can see here, what we've done is we've highlighted the greens. We wanted to bring the greens out, so it stands out a little more like we saw it. But the other thing we also wanted to do was we wanted to improve the sky. We wanted that more blue look in our picture. And so now we've enhanced it. Now, you do these things on the color tab, of course. And even on the color tab, and let me try to close some of these up, you have some options for sharpening the picture, for example. It's got here adjust the sharpening. You can sharpen the picture or whatever, make it fuzzy or whatever. So if you have a slightly fuzzy picture, You could probably just a simple tool, you can sharpen it up. You have LUTs. What are LUTs? It's lookup tables. These are things that simply allow you to choose some preset setting and modify your the look of your image or so forth, in case you don't want to go into all of the details yourself of adjusting it. Here is the most basic way that you can adjust your color and tint and saturation and light exposure and all that sort of stuff. And so there's lots of tools there, but there's even better tools over here that let you focus on certain colors within your image. Maybe you want to focus on just the blue or just the reds or something like that. You can adjust that here. Color curves, which is what I used here to correct this one, is you select each one of these and you go, okay, I'm going to improve the blue, or I'm going to improve the green, you know. So you can see I changed the green or whatever. You can debate whether I did better or worse or better or whatever. I reduced some of the red color. But the point is, there are all of these tools for improving, and you know, people like different ways of doing it, but there are lots of tools for improving your images before you even get to the export stage, and you should look at that. Let's look at just some over here where we did, you know, if you are looking at something and you want to compare it, you don't know how it looks. This little box up here lets you split the screen into a before and after. So this is the original image as it was filmed, and this is with a little touch-up, color correction or color grading as they call it. Likewise, let's just go back to the single and then select this one over here. Again, here's the image. It shows off some nice colors. And this is what it originally looked like. It was kind of a blasé. Now, I would say that Lee, for example, could benefit from doing some color grading and some sharpening to his videos before he even gets to the exporting stage. But let's get to the exporting stage. Okay, as I said, first and foremost, you should be exporting in the same format that you're capturing the image. And for Lee, for example, I would recommend that he not record in HD, but try to capture it in 4K. And the latest version even allows you to take advantage of 8K for that matter. Now, there's tons of settings here that can be adjusted to improve it. And unfortunately, with some of the latest updates now, they've just changed the layout a little bit. So you might have been used to doing it a certain way before, and now those options are still there, but they're located in a different place. An option frequently used was the low, middle, high. You know, you just basically click one of those and Filmora automatically set it up. You can still do that. It's just located in a different location down here under advanced settings. We'll get to that in a minute. But, and again, I'm not going to explain every single thing here, but there's definitely things that you can do. One of the things that is frequently used is GPU acceleration if you have the correct GPU or video card. If you don't, you'll notice that this compression setting here gets changed, and it no longer can be used because this is accelerated. So if you wanted to use this here, then now you could now set your quality and go for YouTube upload color grading, or compression rather, not color grading, or by quality, you know. So if you choose by quality, now you can say, well, how much do you want compressed and so forth. But that's one way you can do that. There's other ways you can do that. The other thing is there's a lot of different formats, but I would recommend you stay with the MP4 format simply because it's going to give you the most options in Filmora. Now, you can choose if you film at the proper resolution, and for Lee, that means buying a higher capacity SD card for his recorder. So if you filmed in the same format that you want to export, the simplest thing is just to choose match project settings. and then you would get that. And then everything would match bit rates. Maybe you want to have a higher bit rate or whatever. So you can do that. You can create your own custom settings so you make sure that you get this every time. When I want to upload something to YouTube, I've created my own 4K res setting, and then I will get that. Or if I wanted to take advantage of the higher compression, then I would get that. But you can save your settings. There's a button down here to save once you change it in the advanced settings, and then you can just simply call that up the next time, and you wouldn't have to remember to change it. But anyway, if you want to change these things in here, then you would go to the advanced settings. And now you have, again, the opportunity to change into all these different formats. But again, the MP4 is going to give you the most options. And in here now, with the latest update that we have, 14.6, we now have 8K capability, which I'm pretty sure Lee has available in his GoPro camera. He may not want to film that high, but he should be at least filming in one of these two categories and then exporting in that and creating his own custom setup. And anyway, yes, so we have that. Now we have the different encoders, and again, this is a more compact version, but if you choose that, all of a sudden you don't have as many choices in your, now you can no longer go to 8K. This is probably something that they need to adjust at Wondershare. And we're going to stick with the 264 format, which is not necessarily the best format. 265 is better. HEVC is better than that. But that's that. Now, we were talking about bitrate mode, and well, this is just variable or constant. But this is where the old 3 buttons is located. Low, medium, high. And right here, you can simply choose again. This is how you did it. If you did it in the old way and you can't figure out where it is now, this is where it is. You have to be into the advanced setting. You have to go into the advanced. Let's move this over. Okay, advanced. And then once you're in the advanced, you can select this preset. But if you just use custom, you can now upgrade it. And Lee mentioned that 8,000 was the maximum, 80,000 was the maximum that was usable for him. But you can actually, if you filmed at a higher bit rate, then you can actually select it here. As you recall, when I examined my videos up here, they were at 55,000. So I could choose something in here in this range, and that would be okay. The higher value you choose, the more data is stored. But it's unlikely if you're playing it on a smart TV at home that is not new that you can even play the video back again. But YouTube will take it in. It will render your video in all the various formats that are down below. So anybody else that doesn't have the same equipment as you will still be able to see what you have uploaded. So again, I'm not going to get into all of this, but this is where you would save it as a preset. You want to create your own custom value, own custom export values. You can do that right there. So I would, for Lee, I would recommend that he does that so that he can be assured that every time he uploads it, that he gets the high quality that he wants. Most likely the defaults have changed on him since the previous version that he had, and he needs to go in and adjust his presets again to match the values that he wants. Okay, there's lots more that can be explored here. We're not going to get into that. I like to use GPU acceleration. That's what I use. But anyway, these are the options that he has, some of the options. There are more options, and I'm not going into detail how to use the options in this video.